How you doing, YouTube? This is Gunner Sergeant 67 bringing you another YouTube video. Today's YouTube video is going to be on the 12 items to have before a grid down scenario. Now, when we talk about a grid down scenario, we can go back to a video that I put out probably about a month ago called Grid Down Scenario over 30 days or longer. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below this video so you can go back and reference it, but it's basically anything over a longer period of time. An EMP, regional disaster like a massive earthquake, a huge 100-year storm, or just a coronal mass ejection that causes a Carrington type event, things that are going to knock out the power grid for an extended period of time. But these 12 items, they're in no particular order, except for the first one. The first one that I'm going to read is actually, in my opinion, always one of the most important preps you can have, because without it, you're not going to be able to maintain or keep possession of your other preps. So the very first one is a personal protection device. That can come in many forms. Mine, you see right in front of you, a Ruger SP-101. Make sure that if you go this route as far as personal protection, that you get copious amounts of training with this. And make sure that you get the ammunition to go along with it. If you don't, it's just a paperweight. All right. The next thing that you should have is some form of power generation, whether that be a gas generator or a solar generator, like the Jackery Explorer 550 that's right in front of you. This thing right here, it's got 550 watts. And it goes ahead and runs everything that I need it to run. I have a IceCo JP42 12-volt expeditionary refrigerator, and it works perfectly. It almost works for 2 full days on one charge on this. And of course, I've got the solar panels, so during the day I can charge it while I'm running my IceCo JP42 12-volt fridge. And of course, gasoline generators. Gasoline generators are pretty cheap. They're very efficient, but you can't use them inside. They're only as good as your ability to gain gas and put gas into it and feed it. So, in my opinion, the best thing to do is have a gasoline generator and a solar generator. That way it kind of complements each other. The next thing you need to make sure you have is some type of food. What I've got in front of you here is some Mountain House freeze-dry food. It's one of the essential meal assortment buckets. It's got 32 servings in it. It's meant to last with 2 meals a day in there. It'll last 3 people 5 days. So 5 days, probably about 5.5 days. But it is very expensive, so you can go ahead and go for the cheaper option by buying very, very cheap essential items like bulk rice. You can go ahead and put them in Mylar bags and then put them in 5-gallon buckets. You can store a lot of rice. Just make sure you put oxygen absorbers and seal them properly. The fourth thing that you're gonna need is water purification, and water containers. As far as water purification, right here, I've got the Sawyer Mini. Sawyer Mini's pretty good. It's rated for 100,000 gallons. I've got a couple of these. I also got some ceramic silver impregnated filters that I can go ahead and put inside of a 2-drip bucket system. And there's plenty of YouTube videos on how to do that. And then I've also got some Big Berkey water filters, which are even better. Same thing, got the filters, didn't go ahead and get the Big Berkey canister. It's pretty expensive, but they do the same thing if you utilize the 2 5-gallon bucket filtration system, where you put one on the deck, and then you take another one, drill a hole at the bottom, you put the filter in, secure the filter, pour your dirty water into the bucket with the filter, then you put that bucket inside of the second bucket, and it'll gravity feed down, and you'll go ahead and have clean drinking water in the second bucket. It's very, very efficient. In addition to water filtration and water, you want to make sure you have some type of water container. That water container can take many forms. One of the things that I invest in are water bricks, like what you see right here. They're 3.5 gallons, and they're stackable. They're very durable. They're thick polypropylene. They come with a handle, and they're very, very easy in storage because you can stack them, hence the term water brick. You can also get some other type of water containers that are more emergency driven, like aquapods. Aquapods basically they range anywhere from 60 gallons all the way to 100 gallons, and you basically put them in your tub during an emergency. You hook them up to your faucet, you fill them up. Here is an example of it. That is an aquapod. This one right here is about 70 gallons. And it even comes with a pump, so I can extract water from it. So during an emergency, I can go ahead and put this in my tub. I can fill it up with water, and then I have 70 gallons of potable water. In addition to food and water, you want to make sure you also have a first aid kit. Your first aid kit should be pretty robust. You should have bandages, gauze, medications, over the counter, as well as if you take prescription medication, make sure that you have at least a 30-day supply of it, and you keep that all together because you never know when you're going to need it. The next thing that you're going to need is lighting. You always want to make sure that you have some type of lighting apparatus. I go ahead and I have a bunch of Streamlight lanterns. I've got this one, and then I've got a bunch of the smaller ones. They go ahead and take AA batteries, and then the small ones do, and then the larger ones take C batteries. And they're very, very bright. They last a long time. They've got 3 settings, actually 4 settings: low, medium, high, and then they've got a red light. They're pretty good on power too. The 7th thing you're going to need is some type of ignition tool, something to make fire. Nothing beats Bic lighters. They just work. Get a bunch of these, make sure you have them. That way, if emergency comes up and you've got to make fire, you can make a fire. You can sit down there, and some people, like I do, I've got a propane. I've got a 250-gallon tank of propane that I fill up twice a year. And if the power's out, I can't ignite that propane, so I'd go ahead and use my Bic lighter. And then you want to make sure you have a an alternate way of starting fire. Here's a fire steel. Fire steel, a ferricium rod is always really good. So make sure you have a type of ignition tool. Number 8, you want to go ahead and make sure that you've got some type of way to boil water and cook your food. Me personally, I've got a couple of ways, but here is a Coleman 1-burner stove. It basically screws onto a propane bottle. It comes with a little stand, as you see right here, that fits along the bottom of the propane, and you just crank it up, use your lighter, light the flame, and now you've got the ability to cook meals and boil water if you need to. And it's not expensive at all. Next is number 9. You want to go ahead and make sure you have some ability to control your climate. I live in North Florida. The winters are very mild here, so I don't have to worry about the cold as much as I do the heat here. And for the heat, I've got a bunch of these small personal Ryobi 3-inch fans with a bunch of these rechargeable batteries, and then they'll sit down there and keep you cool, especially at night when you're trying to sleep and you don't have any power or air conditioning. These fans are lifesavers. But if it does start to get a little cold, I've got a room with a fireplace. So that is our plan if it gets too cold. In North Florida, it will get a little chilly, but nothing too serious. If that's the case, then we all just pile into our room with a fireplace. I've got about a quart of wood that I have had seasoned for about a year. It's covered with a tarp and it's all ready to go. Number 10 is you want to make sure you have tools. And when I say tools to go ahead and do repairs on your home, do repairs on your vehicle, simple repairs, some simple tools like hammers, screwdrivers, pliers, needle nose, adjustable wrenches, things like that. I have a well pump, and I am always having to go ahead and use my adjustable wrench and prime it probably every month minimum. And that's also one of the ways that I would extract some of my drinking water too. I'd go ahead and pull it out from utilizing the well pump with my gasoline generator. I'd go ahead and filter it, and then I'd probably go ahead and either dose it with the appropriate amount of bleach, or I would just boil it. So, but you got to make sure you have tools. That way you can fix things. Simple stuff like saws too, because if we have no power and you do have fireplaces, or you have to utilize a cooking method like wood grills or wood stoves or anything, you're going to have to cut wood. So you're going to need a saw, you're going to need an axe, hammers, all that stuff. Me personally, just like the Ryobi fan, I've got a bunch of cordless Ryobi tools. I've got a Ryobi drill, I've got a Ryobi impact, I've got a Ryobi circular saw, and they all take these rechargeable batteries that I can actually go ahead and recharge with this puppy right here easily. So make sure you have your tools, that way you can go ahead and make repairs or on your home and fix anything else in your area. 11, you're going to want to make sure you have some type of building materials as well. That kind of goes hand in hand with your tools. You want to make sure you got plywood, nails, screws. You want to make sure that you have tarps. A couple times we've had hail, and the hail's taken out a window, and I've had to sit down there temporarily throwing up a tarp. Utilized some of my spare wood and made a tight window frame, and stretched the tarp out on it and placed it in there, secured it, and then that broken window was protected from the elements until the next morning, when I could go ahead and go buy all the material to go ahead and put a new window pane in. So it's very important to have some type of minimal building supplies, building materials on hand. I have tiling in my house. I've got like 3 or 4 boxes of tiles. I've got shingles for my roof. I've got a whole repair kit for my roof, just in case I get a hole. I can go ahead and patch it, cut it out, put the whole repair kit in there, and then re-shingle it until you can go ahead and get more of a permanent fix. But all of these things are necessary if we get in a position to where there is no power. Number 12, you want to make sure you have cash and precious metals. Again, if the power goes down, you're not going to be able to use credit cards. You're not going to be able to go pull money out of the ATM. You're going to have that cash on hand. And then if a grid down scenario lasts for any extended period of time, it's going to get to the point where that cash is worthless. And they're probably going to start taking things that are more tangible, like possibly gold and silver. And there will be a point, if the grid stays down for longer, that they won't even take gold or silver. They're going to want to barter for things that they need, like food, water, the ability to generate power, ammunition, which I'm not a fan of trading ammunition for anything. But you can go ahead and barter your skills. If you're a mechanic like I am, you can go ahead and fix somebody's car in exchange for, if somebody has chickens, you can exchange it for 2 dozen eggs. But make sure you have something on hand like cash or precious metals, so you can at least, once some type of commerce gets reestablished, you can go ahead and pay for goods and services. But yeah, again, this is the 12 items that I think, in my personal opinion, are the bare minimum that you would need in order to put yourself in a position to survive and thrive if there was a situation where the power grid went down for an extended period of time. I did have a 13th one here, and I'll go ahead and share that with you. My 13th item, it's a bonus item, is refrigeration. Especially if you have an issue that requires your medication. If you need medication, especially if it needs to be refrigerated like diabetics, you're going to want to have the ability to keep your medications cold. I have an IceCo JP42, like I said earlier in this video, and that thing is awesome. I hook it up to something like this Jackery Explorer 550, and on one charge it was able to last almost 43 hours. That's not counting me hooking up a solar panel and letting it run throughout the day. I can basically run it indefinitely as long as I've got the sun. And when the sun goes out, I'll utilize my gas generator. So there you have it, YouTube. The 12 items that I think that every prepper should have before a grid down scenario transpires. All right, YouTube. This video's gone on long enough, so I'll go ahead and cut it off here. Please, if you like this content, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below of things that you like, what you don't like, or tell me the items that are important to you that you think are a necessity to have before a grid down scenario transpires. All right, YouTube, take it easy. This is Gunner Restarting 67. I'm out.